What's happening, LTG community? How's everybody doing out there today? How was your last week? All right, so we got a topic for you today, and hopefully it'll be informative for you. Let's talk sugar. So, are there any healthy sugars out there? Any healthy sweeteners out there? What do you think? So let me give you a little bit of some alarming statistics with sugar. We know now, we've done enough studies, years and years worth of study, to know that sugar is a number one driver of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, dementia, stroke, depression, infertility. And if that's true, then the question is, why are we eating it at the amounts that we are eating it? So the average amount of sugar that each person in the United States eats per year is 152 pounds of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. I don't eat 152 pounds, which means somebody else is eating more to take away that statistic on me. So, and if we know this, why are we doing it to our kids as well? You know, some would argue that if we had a foreign nation doing to our kids and to ourselves what we are doing through sugar, I mean, we go to war to protect them. And I'm not blaming y'all. I mean, at some point we have to take accountability for what we're eating, but it's not the sugar that you are adding to your foods. It's the sugar that, the corporations are adding to the foods. Because you're going out and buying the foods, they're hiding these sugars all kinds of different ways in your foods, and in foods that you wouldn't even think have sugar, we're bringing home and eating it, and then therefore we're becoming a sick nation. So the best thing to do is, learn how to read labels, which we'll talk about in a little bit. A little bit more on kids. Our kids here in Western civilization, 40% now are obese. And now little kids are getting type 2 diabetes, something that just wasn't an issue years ago. And even worse, little kids are getting liver transplants mainly because of the sugary drinks that they are consuming, liquid sugar, so to speak, that have high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup wreaks havoc on the liver, if you didn't know that already. So just a tip there. So those are some statistics on sugar that's happening that I think, where I encourage that we take a huge interest in this just for our long-term health. So a couple of questions, true or false questions. So you answer, just shout at the screen, and let's see if we get it right about sugar. The main problem with sugar is that it is just empty calories. True or false? That's false. Sugar has calories. And not only does it have calories, they are dangerous calories. As stated earlier, just wreaks havoc on the body. And even if you're, not overweight and consuming lots of sugar, there is such a thing. I've said this all my training years. I've come across it many, many times. There's such a thing as skinny fat, which means you're skinny on the outside, but fat on the inside. Your organs and liver are just not in great shape. So yes, sugar does have calories. We'll talk about that in a minute. And they are, in my opinion, the most dangerous calories. All right, number 2, agave syrup is a healthy alternative sweetener. So we hear that a lot. I mean, agave syrup is everywhere. It sounds healthy. It's had a great marketing campaign, but that is absolutely false. Agave syrup is 100% fructose, produced with chemicals. So we already talked about fructose. Now, fructose in fruit is okay. The body recognizes it. It's processed naturally through the body. And fruit has many other nutrients and vitamins in it that are worth eating. But fructose is agave syrup, 100% fructose, processed with chemicals and just wreaks havoc on the body. All right. Number 3, sugar and refined carbs. Refined carbs, by the way, are broken down into sugar, is the leading cause of heart disease. The leading cause. True or false? That's true. So keep that in mind when we're eating our foods. All right, number 4, our sugary foods. Number 4, sugar is more addictive than cocaine. True or false? That is also true. They've done studies on the brain with this, and also studies with rats where they've given them the choice between sugar and cocaine, and they go after sugar. But it is very addictive. So once you're on it, trying to beat it can be a challenge. All right, so those are some true or false questions. How about some things to know about sugar? Well, number 1, it's addictive. Number 2, if you stop sugar, it will quickly fix a lot of things in your body. Let's see here. It'll quickly fix many things in your body. It will reset you got my notes here, reset your brain, it'll reset your hormones, it'll reset your immune system, it'll help get your metabolic health where it's supposed to be. So quitting sugar will definitely solve a lot of problems. And this is sugar and refined carbs. Refined carbs, I just calculated sugar. Number 4, artificial sweeteners are not so great for you. There really aren't any good artificial sweeteners. Sugar alcohols cause stomach issues and they mess with your gut. So artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols, not so great. They're industrially produced, a lot of chemicals, a lot of disruption in our metabolic health. So, they're bad for the environment. Sugar production is bad for the environment, in my opinion. Just massive sugar beets and sugar production, are because we need them in massive amounts. There's lots of chemicals, lots of pesticides, lots of other issues there. So those are some things to know about sugar. So you're asking me, okay, Devin, can we eat sugar at all? Well, listen, here's my recommendation for sugar, and it is, recommended not just by me, but by many. For guys, 40 grams of added sugar a day, which is 10 teaspoons, by the way. This is a teaspoon of added sugar per day is your limit. And for girls or women, 25 grams of added sugar, which is about 6.5 teaspoons would be ideal. Okay, and once again, remember, it's not the sugars that you're adding to your food, it's the sugars that the corporations are adding. Like, for instance, if you go to Starbucks and get one of these frappuccinos or whatever that have 50 grams of sugar in it, that's 11, 12 teaspoons of sugar in that drink. Now, you wouldn't just take your coffee and take 12 teaspoons of sugar and add it to your coffee. So it's really not what you're doing, it's what we're getting in the outside world from the corporations. So if you want to have sugar, have a treat every once in a while. I love sugar. I was a sugar addict. So this is the only thing that I count throughout my day are my sugar grams. I don't count my calories. I don't count my protein, carbs, and fat. I just if I eat a well-balanced diet, I'm getting plenty of that. If I'm exercising, all that stuff. But sugars, just because they're tricky in the labeling out there, corporations make it tricky. I look at the labels and I read the sugar. So looking at the labels, there's 60, 70 different names for sugar. So you've got to keep an eye out for that. Rice syrup, corn syrup, sugar, fructose, sucralose, anything with "-ose" on the end is sugar. Your sugar alcohols, erythritol, anything with "all" on the end is sugar alcohols. So you just got to learn to read through the labels and find those sugars, okay? Also, because you have to list your ingredient in order, a lot of times the labels will divide up the sugars in different names so that they don't have to put that as the first thing in the ingredients. You have to list them in order of what's the most in there. So very, very tricky and very hard. So I feel for you, and that's why we do these videos. But hey, if you have good metabolic health, you exercise, you're fit, you're in shape, your insulin is okay. Actually, by the way of determining if you have good metabolic health, check your insulin. If it's at 5, it's okay. If it's under 2, it's good. Then yeah, have your occasional treat, have some sugar, and then get back, to your normal way of eating. The type of sugars that I do maple syrup right here. If there are any good sugars to add, maple syrup, honey. I do fruits a lot. Dates and bananas I put in my oatmeal. Any type of fruit I do before any type of sugar. The only thing I add sugar to is my coffee, really. Coffee or tea. But I'll add a teaspoon of sugar or and I keep the teaspoon right next to it, because I know the teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams, okay? And there's 9 calories in, 4 calories in a gram of sugar. So they do have calories. 9 calories in a gram of fat, 4 calories in a gram of sugar, 4 calories in carbs. All right, so honey, maple syrup are 2 good things. Just know where it's coming from. There's a lot of environmental things that go on with producing honey and syrup and date syrup and all that kind of stuff. So if that's an interest to you, you can get organic. Check the Ethics Consumer Guide. Check with the see if it has a Rainforest Alliance certification seal, that kind of stuff. But yeah, get your brain reset, get your hormones reset, get your immune system reset by ditching the sugar, work out, get enough sleep, enjoy other foods. There's some great foods out there. Reset your palate and explore good natural, natural is a tricky word, but good unpackaged foods. Look out for the packaged foods. Prego tomato sauce has more sugar in it than 2 Oreo cookies. So, your packaged foods, your salad dressings, your granolas, your cereals, your soups, your candies, your yogurts, check the sugar grams. Read the labels. You now know how many grams you can have added sugar per day. You now know how many calories are in a gram. And you now know the havoc it wreaks on the body. This is one that I feel strong about. And I feel like if you just give it a chance, and if you're hooked on sugars, kick the sugars and see how much better you're going to start feeling. All right, L2G, I hope that was helpful to you out there. And let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit your alert button. And share it with somebody else. All right, L2G, much love. Until next time.